Well, it's worth it. Okay, I think we are live. Hello, LBA. It's Kristen Miller here, your Executive Director. I am coming to you live from the Bar Leadership Institute, put on by the ABA in Chicago. And our president, Seth Gladstein, is hopefully in a session listening for me and taking notes right now. But I'm excited to be here with Rebecca Fleischaker. She is the Executive Director of the Louisville Downtown Partnership. And Rebecca is a veteran of Metro government and of all things downtown and economic development. And we're super excited to have you here with us talking about what's going on downtown, especially because it's been a big week for downtown.
We had a big week.
It's been huge. I know you guys had an open house event on the 15th. We got the news from the survey that you guys did in conjunction with GLI and Louisville Forward and Louisville Tourism, indicating that 92% of employers who have space downtown have either brought their folks back already or are planning or have a hybrid schedule. The rest planning to come in late spring, and then of course we've got the return of Humana. So you had a busy week.
And NCAA women's tournament in Louisville this weekend.
Fantastic. I didn't even realize that started this weekend. That's great.
Yeah. Huge.
Well, I know you're kind of like me, a little bit new to your role. So tell me, how's it been getting settled in there?
It's been great. So I started at the very end of the year. And it's been, starting in the holidays is always a little strange, but actually it's been really good because during the quiet months of the end of December and January and into February, I've been doing a lot of planning. So it's been really good, already trying to get some things going and moving. The open house was one of them. If you're downtown, you should be able to see new banners on light poles. We've got a whole new banner campaign. There's more to come. Flower pots have been ordered, materials have been ordered. So those will be going in not until April, but working on those now. And then trying to figure out what are the other things that we need to do programmatically. I really want to help activate spaces and create new senses of place. So where we can add lighting in some places, where we can add more art, public art, beautification of some sort, murals, that kind of thing, working on some projects like that, and trying to figure out how I can go raise some money to do that, because that's not in my budget. But something that I think a lot of people would really enjoy to see downtown. And if you believe in downtown, if you're a friend of downtown, I'll be coming to you to ask how you can support. And it might be a flower pot in front of your building if you're in downtown, and might be money towards creating some ball fields. We're going to paint some ball fields at a repurposed space on West Main for some sports leagues. So if your law firm has a wiffle ball team or wants to put one together, or a pickleball team, we're going to be running some leagues out of that repurposed space. I'm really excited about that, but we need
That's very exciting, because that's right across the street from our office, basically. That sounds like something I'm going to refer to our health and wellness committee.
Yes, well, we'll play against you, so LDP can play Louisville Bar Association. It'll be a fun Wednesday or Thursday evening. I'm assuming there might be a beer truck, food truck there, so I'm looking to try to figure out more events like that can be fun, that would bring people downtown, that would make you as an employee happy to be downtown. And this would be a good day to be working in the office rather than at home.
That's fantastic. Tell me a little bit too, for folks who don't know, what is the Louisville Downtown Partnership? I know it's not government, but it's also not completely private. How does that work, and what's your mission?
We should have started with the basics, right? So Louisville Downtown Partnership is an umbrella agency. It encompasses two different entities. One is the quasi-governmental Louisville Downtown Management District. Those are the folks you see in blue jackets. They're sweeping up on the sidewalk. They're cleaning up graffiti. They're the welcoming, hospitable faces. If you're walking around looking for something, if you don't know where you're going, they're there really for tourists too. And they also help with beautification. The money that pays them comes from the Business Improvement District. That is a legally defined boundary. It is what property owners signed into in 1991 to say, yes, we want this extra level of service for our properties. And that is how those ambassadors are funded. The other entity is completely nonprofit. DDC, Downtown Development Corporation. It is a more of a strategic, longer term visioning body. So how can we improve economic development? How can we improve the look and feel of downtown? What are long-term projects that we could take on? So something on that side of the house would be, I really want to look at how we look at surface parking lots. We have way too many in our downtown, and how could we incent the redevelopment of them into their higher and best use? I mean, a surface parking lot definitely is not that. And so our mission together, the reason they were brought together, is to create economic development, economic growth, vitality, and redevelopment in downtown, and make it a place that people want to come and create a great quality of life. So that's through clean, green, beautification, safety efforts.
I think downtown was obviously on such an upswing, prior to the pandemic. And I think we had reversed years of that notion that, you only come downtown for a few minutes if you're going to a show, and you get out as soon as you can, and that there's nothing going on down there. And some of the myths, I think, that surrounded an urban environment, right?
Right.
And I feel like we've retrenched a little bit, and gone back to the, well, do we even really need a bright and vibrant downtown? But I think, we've all learned over time that you absolutely do. I think Mayor Abramson used to refer to it as if a donut, if you've got a hole in the center, you start to lose the edges. Talk a little bit about the importance of downtown to the entire community, no matter where you live or work.
Yeah, and this is true for any downtown in every city across the entire world. Think about how cities were started and developed, and it's always from a center. It's a town square. If you're in a rural area, you're going to go into town. That's where you're going to do your grocery shopping, your banking, your anything that you're looking for to services. And it's true in a bigger city too. So for us, where we put out an economic impact report beginning of February, and it really, the purpose was to show everything that happens in downtown and why it's so important to the entire community. So the taxes that are spun out of what occurs in downtown are significant. We have more museums, more hotels, more attractions, more distilleries, more tourists. We have everything is here. It's the biggest job center in Louisville. And so if you're talking about an area, and it's by far the smallest geographical area. So it's 0.4 acres in obviously a very large 300, I don't even know the number of acres, but square miles, sorry,
yeah.
0.4 square miles of an area that is an entire metro area. And it is the heart. So where Mayor Abramson talked about, if you don't invest in it, you have a hole in your center. If you flip that inside out, it's the heart of the body, and is really what generates the rest of the community. And that's important. Not that you have to love downtown to appreciate that fact, but you have to appreciate that downtown helps create revenue for everything else in the city. So if downtown isn't doing well, the city isn't doing well, and that's really important.
And I think too, there are still a lot of lingering myths about security issues downtown. I hear from folks who don't come downtown often, things like, oh, I can't believe you're down there. But I used to live in Old Louisville, and I feel very comfortable downtown, and you don't see, differences between, it's perceived to be more dangerous, but if you look at the numbers, it's really not.
Yeah, the perception of safety is what we are battling for sure. It is from 2 years ago when we had some significant protests that did not turn from peaceful to not, that have still stayed in people's minds, and we're still battling that. I've been downtown since June of 2020. I was home for 3 months with COVID, and then came back downtown, and I've been downtown every day since. And for me, I do hear it a lot. It's frustrating because I can't tell somebody it's safe. We have to show people that there's a lot going on, that there's activity, because the more people that are on the street, the safer you're going to feel. So in the early days of COVID, when there weren't a lot of people on the street, you didn't want to be the only one. Like, it just doesn't feel like a safe place to be. And even until I'd say because of the variants, Delta and then Omicron, it was kind of the same thing. Like it was just easier at some point to stay home and not worry about having to come downtown for work anyway. But we have, things are turning. And I really hope that if we can show events where there are a lot of people who obviously are comfortable in their surrounding and are having a good time, that people who have been on the fence or who think, oh gosh, is downtown really safe? Is that true? That they'll start to see it for themselves. And so that's part of my mission. Part of my job is to communicate what's going on in downtown and market these good things, because that's how I think people are going to change their mindset from 2 years ago. And that's why it's important, like you're saying, this week has been a huge change in downtown. Not only is the weather getting warmer, which makes a huge difference, but we've got Humana's coming back, so other people are coming back. So I do think some companies were watching Humana. We've got the survey that says a lot of folks are back, and so we know it for a fact. I mean, it wasn't just Humana. There's thousands, tens of thousands of other employees downtown besides just Humana. This open house, I had 200 people there that I was like hopeful to get, and maybe 100, so that we doubled what we were hopeful for. And that was really heartening to see that people who really do care about their downtown and want to have something to say. And it was in person. By the way, for your audience, we are going to be, I'm putting out an email. Actually, it's going to be like a media release. We're going to put the same questions that were at the open house online, so people can send us comments online too. I'm a little scared about how much I'll get back, but it's good. I need to go through those comments. And then these conventions that are coming back that are really starting to, and big ones too, which is important because again, it's the feet on the street that really add to people's comfort level. If you're surrounded by a lot of people, it just feels different than if you're walking down the street alone. So I do think that the more that we continue to program from our perspective, but the more conventions that come in, the more tourists that come in, the more people who come downtown for work, it's going to be a whole different ballgame. I'll say, on the other hand, during the weekends, it's already hopping. It is so busy and so active and vibrant. I love to see it. And that's not even on a night necessarily where there's a ball game or a concert. So when we get more of these events going on, Kentucky Performing Arts is finally going to be opening back up to other programming. So I think there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be happening that I hope attract people downtown.
Absolutely. And I was going to say that because, as someone who grew up in Louisville and is used to the downtown that was hyper busy till 5 o'clock, and then things got quiet and, where they rolled up the sidewalks, and then seeing the growth of tourism and nightlife. And then now for the last year or two, it's almost been the exact opposite. If you were there during the day, it was super quiet. But when I would come downtown on nights or weekends, I mean, the streets are packed with people on bird scooters and going to the distilleries and carrying around the baseball bats and going out to dinner. And it's funny to see that reversal and see how tourists have readopted downtown even faster than I think locals have. And they're having a great experience. But talk about too what that means for so many of the local businesses that are in downtown, the restaurants, the shops, the attractions. They've struggled without having that constant day-to-day presence, but we're starting to see some of them come back and new things coming online. Talk a little bit about that.
So, and that's a great story because in 2020, we had more restaurant closings than openings. We didn't have any openings. In 2021, we had twice as many openings than closings. So we were already seeing, and thank God for entrepreneurs, people who are willing to take a risk and do what they love and bring you their yummy food or great product, because it is them that is going to make downtown somewhere to come, right? If you're out for lunch, you want some choices of where to go. And if these folks weren't there, if they weren't brave enough to stand where through the long-term weather here, then it would be a different kind of place. Some are still on the brink, have been on the brink. They're holding on by a thread. And I know that they had to downsize staffing. They changed their hours so that they could really try to muddle through to stay long-term open. And we did not lose as many as I thought. Like, I was kind of scared that we would. So that makes me really happy. I hate that they're struggling, but they've already seen a turn. So as soon as numbers started going down, COVID numbers, I'm going to say 3 weeks ago-ish is when I started to hear more comments about things, better day, my sales today or my sales this week were better. This week, I think, is going to be markedly different, just simply because conventions and employees coming back downtown. But the small businesses really took the brunt. Hospitality services and small businesses really took the brunt of COVID, and that's true everywhere. And so when I was at the city and we had a grant program, it was federally funded, CARES Act fund, to help with keeping them open, they gobbled that up. That was super important for them to for a lifeline, for them to even stay afloat. And then so many just figured out how to make it work by changing what they did or how they did it. And I'm still hoping to get some American Rescue Plan funds to help the small businesses existing and also attract new ones as well. Because I do think we still have a lot of storefronts that are vacant, where people had businesses that are now nothing, that we want to fill, because it's the same thing. Like, the more feet on the street, more people on the sidewalk, you feel safe and comfortable. The more businesses you have in a storefront, in a row of storefronts, the more activity and vibrancy is on that block. So I really want to work on attracting new, but also how we can help support and keep supporting these entrepreneurs who are out there every day, hoping that you'll come by for lunch.
And now you guys keep an active list on your website.
We
Is that
do.
correct?
Yes. We have a list, and actually we've just updated it because Addie's just opened this week. They had been closed waiting to see, I think, what Humana was going to do. So they're open this week. But most everybody's open. So the question now is, how late in the afternoon do they stay open? If you have to run out after, if you're, I usually eat a late lunch because I'm in the, running around crazy, probably like you. And so shoot, somebody may have closed earlier than normal or something like that. So that's going to be the trick. But we do list the hours on our website. I think it's super important that people have a place to go look for that. I can share that link with you if you want to send out to your membership. I think that would be really good. I put it in my newsletter every month. We're trying to make sure folks know this is who you should go support and this is who's open. Because I also don't want people at home thinking, I don't want to go work downtown if I can't do it, if there's nothing to go to or do. And this is really to help show that there is. So please don't not come downtown because of that.
And if folks are interested in, developments downtown and getting access to that website, they can sign up for your blog, correct?
Yep, they can sign up for my blog and the newsletter. My blog is like a every other week thing. It's just short tidbits, like a couple paragraphs, Rebecca's musings, really. And then the newsletter is once a month, and it's a little bit more substantive about things that are going on. But you can,
and that's just, you do that through your website?
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's
okay.
LouisvilleDowntown.org.
Okay, great. Any sneak previews of things that might be on the horizon, things people should be looking for downtown? Any special secrets you can share with us?
Well, I can't share any secrets like business openings, because that would be hurting them. But I will share things that I'm working on, because if anyone hears this and is excited and wants to be a part of it, I'd love help. I mean, LDP we're 6 employees. We're very small. We are hiring, though, small business manager and a marketing communications coordinator. If anyone is interested, please reach me at rfleischaker@louisvilledowntown.org. So maybe we'll be 8 by some time, but we're small. And so and our budgets are very small. We're a nonprofit, just like you. So we have to raise money to do any of these special projects that I'm trying to work on. But I do want to share what I'm working on, because these are just Rebecca's ideas, and I'm sure there are other ideas. So I'm hoping to go through these folders of sticky notes that I got at the open house on Wednesday or Tuesday. So I mentioned this before, if you can light up a space, if you can give it a treatment, some kind of public art or painting or anything that offers what I call a quirky, fun surprise. I think it is a lot of it just offers authenticity for the place you're in, and it just is a fun experience. It really makes walking along the street just a better experience all around. So I'm working on a lighting installation that will go in the underpasses separating downtown from Nulu. So like Main Street, by the ballpark, Market, Jefferson, maybe Liberty, that's probably south as we go. But some interactive neon installation. So we're pricing that out. We're starting to design, seeing if we can get some state grants for that.
Very cool.
But that will be something that not only is fun and inviting into a space, but it also provides safety elements because lighting just automatically does. And I think you'll also get a sense of, because those underpasses became so big with the new bridges project, that it's like quite an expanse to walk through. And if you're walking alone or after a ball game, I mean, I want it to feel more of the streetscape. So that's one project. Another lighting project is I really want to do string lights above 4th Street, half of a block. This would be south of 4th Street Live. Don't want to block any streets, but to eventually close down that half block on weekends for programming. And that could be a farmer's market, salsa dancing, an art fair. Like there are things that I'm already talking about with Olivia Griffin at Riot Cafe and other business owners along 4th Street. That could be where we like just activate that space and do things that then will invite people in, because I think something has to happen there to then attract people to that space. I love lighting, and I think it's something that people are gravitate toward and want to take their pictures with. So I think that would be kind of a fun space too. The repurposed space where we're talking about painting, we got to treat the concrete and paint some ball fields on the concrete and then hang up some art on the walls. So trying to get that off the ground, because if we can do that soon, and I am trying to raise money for that, that's a $25,000 price tag. But if we can get that off the ground soon, we can have some fall leagues, which I think would be a lot of fun. I can't wait for LDP to play LBA and see if we can.
I'm committed to this. I'm committed to putting together a pickleball team. I feel like we can do it.
Let's do it. And what else am I working on? Oh, so maybe you've never noticed, but when you're walking along downtown, every intersection has a black box. It's called a signal, electrical signal box. And it's where all the inner workings of streetlights go on. These things are just black boxes. Sometimes they're gray. They get hit a lot with graffiti because they're nice flat spaces. And I want to do a vinyl wrap with public art on them. So we're going to do a call for art that artists already might have. We'll give you the dimensions of these boxes. We have 142 intersections, I think, in downtown. And so you'll see some color pop up. It's a little random, but it would be something that not only is pretty, I hope, but that also is fights graffiti and helps abate graffiti. And that's just a little thing that I think would be another fun, quirky surprise that you would run into when you're walking through downtown.
And again, goes to that authenticity that you're talking about, something that makes Louisville different from any other metro area that you happen to be in.
Yeah, and it would be by local artists. So, I mean, how else? I mean, how cool if you're an artist and you're like, hey, that's my signal box. I did that. Yeah, I think that those kinds of touches, and I keep talking about this, small touches can be so impactful. Did I mention the banners yet? We're putting up new banners in downtown.
Yes, the new banners, yes.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that too.
Those are going up, again, small touches, right? But we added like 150 light poles to what was already existing. So you're going to see a lot more concentration of color on these light poles in a consistently designed, classy look. It's simple. But to me, that just adds to the streetscape and makes you feel like you're somewhere special. So those are the kinds of projects that I really feel will make a difference in how you feel when you're in downtown. It might make you talk about it when you are home and talk or with family who might be on the fence about whether they can come downtown. But people need to see that there's care being given to the streets and to the public environment. And I think that's where right now it's really important for us to play.
Yeah. Well, I want to wrap it up because I know you're very busy, but I always ask as my last question, what can the LBA do to help support what you're doing? What can we do to help support downtown? A lot of our members have offices downtown, whether they're there full-time or hybrid. Obviously a lot of our folks are at the Judicial Center a lot downtown and have
Yeah.
meetings downtown. What can we be doing as an organization to support your efforts to improve and grow a successful downtown?
Well, first I would say to your members, come to the office. I will give a shout out to Stolking and Ogden because they made a point to announce that they were staying in downtown. So they moved offices because I know law firms are downsizing. That's not news to me. I understand it, but they committed to being in downtown because it's important for them to do their work in downtown. And I think when I talked to Kendrick Riggs about it, it made so much sense. I'm like, you need to tell all of your other friends the same thing because there's only one downtown. There's a lot of suburban office parks that just aren't, in my opinion, quite as interesting, even though they might be easier for you to get to, but or park or whatever it is that you say the advantages there. So I would say come to the office because I think that's really important. For me as a human being, I think we need to be together. I do better work when I'm with people. I think as social beings, that's important. But also downtown needs you. Like you want to be able to bump into clients on the street. You could probably work a deal like on your way to the courthouse and not even realize that, oh, I wouldn't have been able to do that had I been at home or, in a suburban office. But for LBA, I would say participate. If you're able like to sign up for a sports team, like that would be something. If you could, sponsor flower pots on your corner, that would be great. If there are things that you could do that like put you into being active with LDP and the programs that we have, I just think that would be great.
Absolutely. Rebecca, thank you so much. The downtown area is very important to us. We're located right there at 6th and Main in a historical building. I feel like we're in a fantastic location and we love inviting people downtown and we definitely want to be part of the continued success of our central business district. And thank you for your enthusiasm and all the great new ideas that you have. And we will look forward to taking you down on the pickleball court this fall.
Oh, challenge accepted.
Trash talking. I guess I have to learn how to play pickleball now.
Yeah. Okay. It's on, Kristen.
Rebecca, thank you so much. Please visit the Louisville Downtown Partnership online. You can follow them on social media as well. Say hello to the ambassador that you pass on your way to the office. Stop and have lunch at a local restaurant. Bring your friends and family downtown to eat and to see a show. And we'll continue the conversation. And please know you can count on us. Thank you so much, Rebecca.
Thanks, Kristen. Good to be with you.
Talk soon.
Bye-bye.